Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be, and welcome back to the Canary Central channel. And we're going to be talking about Norwich City up against West Bromwich. Well, it seems to be an absolute dream at the minute with Norwich City winning our last two games up against Walsall and Disney FC, that being Wrexham. Up against West Brom, who we did actually lose in Liam Manning's, disastrous tenure at Norwich City, which led to protests and everything. But we lost 1-0 up against them, which was, I think, the sixth game we'd lost at home in a row. But obviously, under Felipe Clement, he has absolutely changed that completely. And we're away at the Hawthorns, which is an incredible ground, formerly of the Premier League. And they've had players such as Lukaku play for them. And with their head coach, Ryan Mason, being sacked on the 6th of January a couple of weeks ago, they've recently appointed for Manchester United and Minnesota United head coach Eric Ramsey, who seems to be doing not too bad for them. I know that they have lost their last couple games, other than that win it up against Swansea City, winning 6-5 on penalties in the FA Cup. But they do seem like a team that are starting to rejuvenate under this new leadership, with Eric Ramsey actually having a little link to Norwich City, with him having managed at Minnesota United, formerly coaching Timu Pukki, who he became very fondly of at his time there. But West Brom currently sit 19th in the Championship with only one win in their last 5 games, if we're not counting that FA Cup win. And ultimately, we have drawn them in the FA Cup at home instead, which would be an incredible FA Cup tie to come. But talking about this at the minute, it seems to be that it is a massive 6-pointer. If we win, it really does change the table dramatically, with the likes of Portsmouth, if they do lose their next 2 games that they have in hand, compared to us, who have played all of our Championship games that we can so far, compared to like Portsmouth. And same with clubs like Blackburn and Charlton. If they also lose, it can really change up the league standings if we do win, especially if they do lose as well, because even clubs such as Sheffield United and probably clubs up to probably about 13th, where you have like Swansea City and all that, really are probably starting to worry now, especially with the relegation scrap getting even more wider than expected, compared to a couple of games ago. And with their top scorers this season, such as Annie Hegbo scoring 8, and Isaac Price, who's an incredible talent who has had many eyes across in the Premier League, being one of the top wonder kids of this generation, with 6 goals this season. And Carlian Grant and Nathaniel Phillips, former Liverpool player, scoring 3 goals this season. A club that aren't predominantly scoring at the minute, but they certainly have a hope to win at home, especially on Tuesday night. But regards to Norwich City, obviously the Josh Sargent saga is going on, with Toronto obviously still being named as the club that are going in for Sargent. Recently, the likes of Nottingham Forest, who are looking for a new striker, such as Enesiri from Fenerbahce to join. But Josh Sargent is on Sean Dyche's list at Nottingham Forest for a potential new striker coming in. But I would say Josh Sargent won't start again. There hasn't been any news confirmation yet, but I would assume he won't be starting or even be on the bench for the game, because, as Felipe Clement said, he's not leaving. Unless you give 100 million to us, then we will sell him. But players I would like to start is Yovan Makama. Unbelievable, 14 goals this season. He has been incredible ever since that sort of early December period. He just can't stop scoring, it seems like. He is literally, I would argue, the best Championship striker at the minute. And players such as Ali Ahmed as well. Incredible ball to Anis Ben-Semeini in that first 45 minutes was unbelievable, and I think that it will definitely cement him in that starting 11 for the coming games. And speaking of Anis Ben-Semeini, he should start again. He practically reproduced that same performance up against Wrexham that he did pull off against Walsall. Obviously, not as many assists as you kind of think, but still, it was an incredible performance from him. And if he can continue this way, I think he could easily take Jacob Wright's spot as a centre attacking midfielder. But I think with that centre attacking midfielder spot, that number 10 needs to be sought after, because we haven't really replaced on number 10 since probably about Buendia or Wes Houlihan, who actually, ironically, did play for West Brom after he did leave us, for a little fun fact there. But we were going to go for Andrew Irving, but he has gone to Sparta Praha on an undisclosed fee. I would say one of the reasons why the deal sort of fell through was because we have so many midfielders already, so he would just be another player in that sort of mix. I mean, he would be one of the better players, but he certainly wouldn't be guaranteed to start with the amount of competition in that sort of area, especially. But one of our the number 10 is one of our targets that Ben Nepper has said is that number 10 position, especially, and that's something. It's a massive priority. I mean, you would have Oscar Schwartau playing that, but he's having to being played on the left due to that sort of left wing crisis we've had. But obviously with Pape Amadou Diallo coming back, the Senegalese man who, he didn't go to AFCON, but congratulations to Senegal for winning that final in that crazy AFCON final that happened. But still, obviously Schwartau can go back to be playing in that centre attacking midfield spot, but we need a player who knows that position for a number of years. And Schwartau, although he's 20 years old, we need that sort of 25-year-old, 26-year-old who's in his prime still, who's going into his prime and knows that position very well off his heart. And I would say we shouldn't be playing Jurasek, even though he's had some good games here and there, like QPR, Walsall scoring his first goal for Norwich City on that day. A decent performance up against Wrexham, but not the greatest I've ever seen him play. But I would love to see more of Tony Springett, especially after that goal against Walsall. That was incredible. But I think same with Ben Crescene. He's had good games here and there. That game where he came back up against Southampton was incredible, but I think he should be on the bench. But there's not really any good left backs that can really play at the minute to sort of replace him. I mean, you have Mahovo, but if I would much rather the Mahovo we saw last year compared to this year. He hasn't been that good. We haven't really had that sort of incredible left back since Janolis when he did go to FC Augsburg on a free. And I really do miss a player like him who could go from left back and practically just become a centre attacking midfield himself, especially under David Wagner when we play against Blackburn in the FA Cup. I thought that was his best performance yet. And if we could have someone like him in our squad, I think we would be set for an incredible, couple wins with a player like that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we can win up against West Brom. That sort of briefing, I would love to sort of see if we can, if Felipe Clement would pick a different left back, for example, because for the starting 11, I've gone Vladan Kovacevic. This is the predicted. I've sort of gone for at the back, Jack Stacey, Rory McConville, Jose Cordova, and Callum Fisher at left back. I think he's a much more better player to go from that left back option. As much as he's a more preferred right back, I would say putting him at left back is okay. It's sort of what Johan Torup did towards the end of his time there. In the field, keep that pairing of Kenny McLean and Pane Matson. And then up the attacking midfielders, we go Tony Springett, Jacob Wright, and Ali Ahmed. He needs to be playing Ali Ahmed a lot more, especially after that, the Walsall game where he wasn't able to play. But yeah, Jacob Wright, I think I'd keep him there for now, and then put Oscar Schwartau in after in the following game, and then Yovan Makama has to start, as I've said, he needs to. But yeah, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Hopefully we can win up against West Brom tomorrow. It should be an incredible game. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Come on, Yellows. See you later. Cheers and goodbye.